what happened here likely with the saddle?
Well, I wasn't sure what had happened, and we can see quite clearly here that Dale Irving is starting to have problems with his saddle. He's going over towards one side, he can't keep the horse in, he's right at the rail, and the saddle was slipping, and he's come out of the saddle.
And see how Charlie Deutsch taking a good look to his right there. He was left in splendid isolation as One Star came back for a second successive win, having gone 21 races or 20 races without winning. But Dale Irving was up afterwards. The horse galloped to the inside, and to the best of our knowledge, both horse and jockey are okay, which is the most fortunate bit out of it, of course. But a really unfortunate incident for Dale Irving aboard Apache Pilot, and who knows what might have happened. You can see the winner coming home easily.
Well, it's a hard one to call, really, because Apache Pilot was definitely getting on terms before the saddle started to go.
Okay, right. We can move on to the next race at Wincanton, which is the 4:25, a novices hurdle over 1 mile, 7.5 furlongs, and Paul Nicholls has won this with some extremely long odds on favourites in recent years, notably Capitaine, who won at the competitive price of 14-1 on this time last year. You were there, weren't you, David?
I was. It's a bit more competitive race this year, and the money for Diamond Guy is very interesting.
He absolutely bolted up Diamond Guy in a depleted bumper field in early April last year, where the ground was good to firm. I think 11 became 4, and he won by 28 lengths, one as he liked. And as you said earlier on in the show, the last time we saw him was in that Kempton Jumpers bumper in early March, where he looked to have stolen the race from the front or kicked on, only to be run down by a Harry Fry runner whose name escapes me, on a day that Harry Fry won most of the races, it would have seemed, on the card. But Diamond Guy, it is still early days for him. As I said, Paul Nicholls won this with a 14-1 on shot last year, and he won it with an 8-1 on shot the year before with Zubair, so he knows what it's like to win this race, albeit this is a much bigger price.
It is. I didn't think the piece of hurdles form that he has was necessarily the strongest in the race, and it's hard to know what to make of that bumper form, for all that he won by sort of won in taking style, but clearly he's expected. The two penalised horses that were at the head of the market, they're both drifting in the face of the support for him.
Right, let's talk about Irish Prophecy though, because Irish Prophecy represents Emma Lavelle, and she's now looking for a hat-trick, also has Blushing Red in the race. Irish Prophecy, who was 2 from 2 in bumpers, won his first start over hurdles at Sandown before being beaten by 10 lengths by Kalashnikov, and last seen behind If the Cap Fits, so kept some pretty good company.
Indeed, though it wasn't a great run behind If the Cap Fits. It was a better run behind Kalashnikov, and the amount of rope he was given at Sandown when he was long odds on, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was a farcical start, and he never looked like being challenged. So he's got a penalty for that. I think he should be a shorter price than Shelburne, and he should probably be a shorter price than Diamond Guy on what they've actually achieved.
Was hampered on Boxing Day. There was a fall, wasn't there, of Storm Home, but the trainer, Emma Lavelle, said that the ground wouldn't want to be too soft for him. He's all about pace, this horse. Shoal Bay is taking a big drop in class, 80-1 when last seen in the Supreme, one of the Colin Tizard trained trio in the race. Lost in Translation came out of that race and ran a belter last week. Highest race of these with a BHA rating.
Yes, has run in a couple of races that he couldn't win the last twice. Did win earlier in the season, the bumper and then over hurdles. I didn't think his best form was quite as good as that second to Kalashnikov of Irish Prophecies.
Just quickly, I know you wanted to mention Smuggler's Blues, who we haven't seen since Hereford in December.
I think he's shown a lot of promise in his 2 runs. It was a pretty decent bumper at Worcester that he made his debut in. Winners around him. He had won an Irish Point, actually. And then over hurdles, he ran behind Paisley Park and the name
Vision des Flots.
Yes, thank you, Vision des Flots, who would have gone close if he hadn't bungled the last. But I mean, that was that was quality opposition,
Yes.
and Smuggler's Blues was still in contention, turning for home, and just got tired over a testing 2.5 miles. So I think he's definitely a contender in this.
Paul Nicholls looking for a double. He's got Diamond Guy. Emma Lavelle looking for a treble. Irish Prophecy. An interesting looking novices hurdle this. 1 mile 7.5 furlongs the trip. You can see there Irish Prophecy fairly to the fore. Diamond Guy in the colours of the late Graham Roach is prominent as well, along with Shoal Bay. So for the call, we'll rejoin Mike Cattermole.
Yeah, Nick, thank you. Now, what's happening down there? Nanny McPhee is not sure whether she's going to take part. He was off her just a few moments ago and got back on again. Nanny McPhee still being led round with Tom Garner holding on to her at the moment. He did get back on board a few moments ago. Doesn't seem to be particularly happy, Tom. And Nanny McPhee has been withdrawn. Nanny McPhee is not running in this race, so no wonder Tom looks a little bit disconsolate. Still leaves us an interesting race. She was beaten quite away in a selling hurdle last time, Nanny McPhee. It's hard to think she'd have made an impression here, but anyway, another day for her. Yellow flag is raised and they're walking in. Our first 2 miler of the day is off and racing. The Cadbury Business Park novice hurdle underway. Indigo Stamp immediately establishing an early lead from Shoal Bay, and then comes Pirolo on the inside. Diamond Guy, the favourite, right up there in the early exchanges, with Irish Prophecy in the black jacket tracking him. And then on the near side comes Smuggler's Blues, who's just ahead then of Mattoon dressed as horse, who races alongside just in front of Penny's Hun in the middle of the field. Cranstal is restrained towards the back of the pack as they settle down, swap places a little bit here, and come on towards the second flight. Indigo Stamp leads the field over that one. Shoal Bay right up there as well with Diamond Guy, Irish Prophecy, and then Smuggler's Blues. On the inside then is Pirolo, who races together with Penny's Hun in the terracotta jacket. Serosevsky is next, followed by Cranstal, Mattoon dressed as horse. City Star is on the inside, blushing red towards the back with Big Difference. And last of all is Fred's Filly in the yellow colours, in the hands of Sean Houlihan as they race on, heading up towards this next flight of hurdles. And Dave Cross making the running on the rank outsider Indigo Stamp here as they took that third flight. They'll lead them down the back straight. Shoal Bay right up there though on the inside, almost taking over now perhaps as they move on. Tom Scudamore sends Shoal Bay into a narrow advantage. Over the next flight of hurdles they go. Indigo Stamp is next, followed then by Diamond Guy, and right up there Irish Prophecy. These four about 5 or 6 lengths clear of Pirolo and Smuggler's Blues. Then comes Penny's Hun, followed then by Serosevsky in the blue and white colours. Blushing Red has got a bit on at the moment. He's racing towards the outside of them. And then comes Cranstal in the Trevor Hemmings colours as the leaders continue over the next. City Star is still towards the rear. So too is Fred's Filly and Big Difference in the green and red colours out towards the back as well as they go on towards the next flight of hurdles. And Diamond Guy was the leader over that. From in second place, Shoal Bay. Right between them, the white sleeves then of the early pace setter Indigo Stamp. Black jacket Irish Prophecy goes well on the outside. He's clear third now. Indigo Stamp, who looks an awkward ride at times, is in fourth place. Pirolo, Smuggler's Blues next. Blushing Red getting closer. Then comes Serosevsky, Penny's Hun, Mattoon dressed as horse trying to get on terms. But at the moment, the three ahead of them by a good 5 or 6 lengths, and they are Diamond Guy from Shoal Bay and Irish Prophecy on the outside as the runners now head on towards the home straight. 2 flights left to go in the Cadbury Business Park novice hurdle, and Diamond Guy and Harry Cobden in front. Irish Prophecy and Adam Wedge on the near side now chase in second place. Here's 2 out. Third, then touching down just Shoal Bay from Smuggler's Blues in fourth place. Then comes behind these Mattoon dressed as horse, but racing on towards the final flight and this Diamond Guy has gone well clear. That's quite impressive, the way he's just left them behind him, apparently effortlessly as well. Here's the final flight, then Diamond Guy, the leader, skips over it, clear by 6 or 7 lengths. Smugglers Blues is running on late, Shoal Bay battling on, Diamond Guy just needing to be shaken up now to make sure, and is going to come home here and make it a double for Paul Nicholls. Diamond Guy and Harry Cobden from Shoal Bay in second, then Smugglers Blues in third, Irish Prophecy 1 pace fourth, and then back in fifth Serasevsky.
Diamond Guy, on his second start over hurdles, the first since late October, has won in the hands of Harry Cobden, giving trainer Paul Nicholls a double on the afternoon. The 2-1 favourite has won, coming clear in the end of Shoal Bay. Look to, at this stage, David, certainly to my mind, as if he was going to go on and record a very decisive success, but the winning margin wouldn't have been quite that.
No, just a bit green in front, but travel really well. The market told the story beforehand of what was expected. He's seen off the 2 winners, and coming from further back in a race where they've not really quickened until after 3 out. Smugglers Blues has come through to challenge for second, hasn't quite managed to take that position, but I'm sure Tom George and connections will be pleased with the way that Smugglers Blues has shaped and that he's finished the race.
With the first 4 horses as they were, including Lost Prophecy, of course, in there as well. Smugglers Blues, Shoal Bay, and this horse, the winner, Harry Cobden aboard. Diamond Guy, with the way that race was run, I should say, and the horses that filled the first 4 places, would you be looking at this as quite favourable form here?
I think so. When you look at his physique and you think fences next season with Diamond Guy.
Very much so. Very much the stand for Paul Nicholls' horse in that respect. Let's move on to Market Raisin for their next, to 4:35, which is starspreads.com novices handicap hurdle, 2 miles half a furlong. And they go with that number 2, Du Soleil, and 5, Toboggan's Fire, which leaves a quartet. Ossamoon's 9-4, Generous Day 5-2, The Grinder 11-4, and Drums of War is 4-1. A tight betting heat. Otter Moon 9-4 heads the 4, and Otter Moon, first of a couple of rides for Noel George here, has Until winning in the 5:05, both for Father Tom. Diamond Guy there, 2-1 favourite, beats Shoal Bay at 7-2, and Smugglers Blues over at Wincanton. But Otter Moon, top weight off 11-12. Noel George takes off £7. At third to Mackesar the last time at Huntingdon, and third the time before, both off this mark. Will this race, well, it's only got a few rivals now, but I was going to say, is this really going to take as much winning as what he's been up against?
Well, one of the rivals who's come out was the likely pacemaker Du Soleil, so they might be pottering here, really. The horses that track the pace are more patiently ridden.